What happens when two teenage girls quietly board their flight with first-class tickets, but never make it off the runway? What begins as an exciting trip to a national youth conference spirals into humiliation, suspicion, and a decision that will shake the airline industry to its core. But these aren't just any girls. And their father? He's one of the most powerful CEOs in aviation. This isn't just about race. It's not just about power. It's about what happens when quiet prejudice meets unbreakable love and justice takes flight. I never imagined walking through an airport could feel so tense. The polished floors at Hamilton Ridge International gleamed beneath our sneakers as Zena and I wheeled our carry-ons toward the Skinova Airlines terminal. It should have felt like freedom. No security guards this time, no press, no adult eyes. Hovering behind us, not just as sisters Zora and Zena were traveling alone for the first time. We were headed to Seattle for the Aurora Civic Forum exclusive youth leadership conference. Out of thousands of high school applicants, we had been selected, not because of our name, but because of our voice, because of what we stood for. Our father had one condition before he let us go solo. Know who you are, and never let anyone treat you like you don't. Zena and I wore matching grey hoodies, black leggings and white sneakers, comfortable, simple, and anonymous, just how our dad taught us. You wouldn't know by looking at us that our father is Cameron Whitlow, founder of WhitlerTech, one of the most powerful telecom empires in the country. But we weren't there to show off. We just wanted to make it to Seattle, speak on that stage, and prove we earned our place. At the Skinova check-in, a young airline worker scanned our boarding passes. First class, he said, eyebrows lifting. My dad believes in investing. In comfort, Zena replied with a small smile. He didn't say much after that, just handed us our tags. But even in that short moment, we felt it, the tension. A pause just long enough to make you question yourself. But we shook it off. Maybe it was nothing. Security was smooth. Gate B14. We had time to spare. Zena went looking for smoothies. I'd, of course, found the nearest bookstore. When we regrouped, she handed me a mango smoothie. Peace offering, she grinned. We slumped into the hard plastic chairs at the gate, watching the planes glide along the tarmac. For a few minutes, everything was calm, normal. This trip is going to be amazing, I said. Zena grinned. It already is. We're free. But in my heart, I knew freedom for girls like us wasn't always that simple, especially not for black. Girls in first class, girls who didn't apologize for being seen. Boarding begins. The shift boarding was called early. We waited just like Dad taught us. Let the chaos go first. We moved when it was quiet. We handed over our passes, confident and calm, seats 1A and 1B, the gate agent confirmed. Welcome aboard. As we stepped onto the plane, the air felt different, not colder. Heavier dot at the entrance stood a tall blonde flight attendant. Her name tag read Savannah Bear. Good morning, she said. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Flying alone today? Yes, ma'am, Zena replied, still polite. We're going to a youth conference in Seattle. First class, she repeated as if confirming. Yes, I answered. Seats 1A and 1B. Unaccompanied minors, she pressed dot. I kept my tone even. We're both 17. That doesn't qualify as unaccompanied under FAA rules. She didn't respond, just stepped aside and motioned us in. We rolled our bags to the front row and settled in dot. Everything was familiar. Comfortable. Not luxury, just earned peace. Dad always said, stillness is something you earn. I noticed Savannah whispering to another flight attendant, a man with a sharp crew cut. His tag said Elliot Crane. They both glanced at us, then quickly turned away. Did you see that? I whispered. Zena shrugged, opening her granola bar. We're young. We're black. We're sitting in the seats they don't expect. People. Staring is one thing. That felt different. I said. The tension recess a few minutes later. Savannah returned, tray in hand. Orange juice, cranberry, water. No alcohol, obviously, she said, with a thin smile. Orange juice, please. We said together. As we reached for the glasses, she hesitated. If I may, she began casually, but her voice was controlled. I'd like to verify something with the purser. Just a quick review of the manifest. Is there a problem? I asked. Oh, no, she said too quickly. Just unusual. She didn't finish the sentence, just walked away, her heels clicking down the aisle. Zena stared into her drink. Tell me I'm not imagining this. You're not, I said. They think we don't belong. She nodded, eyes hard. All we wanted was to get there. And now we're the problem. Removed from the plan when they returned, it wasn't just Savannah. Elliot Crane walked beside her, holding a clipboard. Ladies, Elliot began. We need to verify your boarding passes again. We already scanned them, Zena said. There's been a procedural inconsistency, Savannah added. Inconsistency? I repeated. If you wouldn't mind stepping off the aircraft, we'd like to sort it out at the gate, Elliot said. My chest tightened. Sort what out? It'll only take a moment, Savannah replied, still smiling like it wasn't personal. But it was. We stood, gathered our bags, and walked off under the silent, watchful eyes of the cabin. Confrontation at the gate. A woman in a navy blue blazer stood waiting. Her name tag read Natalie Chang. Her smile was polite. To polite. Zora and Zena Witt? She asked, holding a manifest that already had our names printed. Yes, I said. We're doing a quick verification. May I see your IDs and travel documents? We handed over our passports and our conference letters. You're traveling alone? She asked. Double quotes. Yes, we're 17. That's within the FAA's guidelines. I understand, she said, glancing at Elliot. But some concerns were raised. What kind of concerns? Zena asked. Her voice sharp now. They were uncertain about the legitimacy of the booking. I stared at her. Are you implying our tickets are fake? No one is implying anything, Natalie said, clearly nervous now. We just want to be thorough. Zena crossed her arms. If we were. To blonde girls with yoga pants and Starbucks cups, would you be this thorough? This has nothing to do with appearance, Natalie replied. I looked her dead in the eye. It never does until it does. To be continued. We stood there, passports in hand, surrounded by silence. This wasn't just about a flight. It was about being seen and questioned for daring to exist in a space someone else thought we didn't belong in. And in that moment, Zena and I didn't just wait for answers. We made a call to our father. And that changed everything. They were just kids, and yet, somehow, they became the face of something much bigger. As we sat in that lounge, faces half known and fully watched, everything felt surreal. People weren't just talking. They were witnessing. And for once, they were believing. Zena scrolled through the feed in silence. A new post had just gone viral, not from us, but from a woman named Rachel Fenwick. She had been seated to rows behind us. They were calm, respectful. Nothing about them warranted removal. She wrote, if anything. The flight attendant looked agitated from the second they boarded. Zena looked up, stunned. Zora, they're backing us up, but I could already feel it. This wasn't just a moment. It was a movement. One comment turned into dozens, dozens into thousands. People were speaking, sharing, testifying. And then came the video, shaky footage from someone seated near the rear of the cabin. It caught just enough, the crew whispering, pointing, the eye rolls, and us, quietly collecting our bags. The caption read, first-class passengers removed for being young, black, and alone. Pause. Music drops to a low hum. We weren't crazy. We weren't being dramatic. And now the world knew it too, inside the lounge. Everything looked pristine, glass, marble, quiet. But inside us, a storm. And then he appeared. Julian Cole, station manager. Polished, poised, rehearsed. Zora, Zena, I want to sincerely apologize for the inconvenience today, he said. Zena didn't flinch. Inconvenience? Is that what we're calling it? He offered upgrades, lounge access, vouchers, as if a croissant and a recliner could erase everything. We took the tickets not out of acceptance, out of curiosity, out of control. Because the truth is, they weren't sorry. Not really. They were just scared. And they should be. Beat. Soft background music resumes. Back in the lounge. We heard Doran Pike, the same manager who said we made the crew uncomfortable. His voice. Smug. If they weren't who they were, no one would care. That was it. Zena stood. Walked to him. Say it again, she said, loud. So everyone can hear you. He froze. She didn't. We were a problem before anyone hit record. And then he vanished, behind some door, behind some lie. That's when I knew. This wasn't about vouchers or first class anymore. It was about a question we'd carried all our lives. Do we belong here? And for the first time, the answer wasn't whispered. It was echoed yes. Not because of a father with power, but because of the truth. Because we did everything right and still got dragged out. And now the world had seen it. And alone, the footage had already exploded. Channel Wave News was looping it every hour. Travel lawyers were speaking out. And Ellen Harper, a high-profile civil rights attorney, she posted a short, piercing video. This is how bias works in real life. No slurs, no shouting, no violence. Just quiet procedures pushing black girls out of first class. It's racism. In a pressed uniform, I exhaled. This wasn't just going viral, it was catching fire. Suddenly, a woman approached our lounge table. Late 30s, sleek dress, calm voice. I was on your flight, she said. I didn't say anything then. I regret it, but I saw what happened and I filed a report. Zena stood up, stunned. You were there. The woman nodded. And I fly a lot. I've never seen passengers treated that way. It felt targeted. And just like that, others started stepping forward. A man across the room looked up from his paper. You were both more professional than the crew. I was on that flight too. Another voice chimed in. I saw it on TikTok. You'd handled it better than most adults would. It was like a ripple effect. People who were once silent, maybe afraid, maybe unsure, were now speaking. Zena sat back down, her hands shaking, but this time not from fear. They tried to erase us, she whispered. Now, everyone's seeing it. I nodded. They wanted silence. They're getting echoes. A lounge staff member approached. Sky Nova just released this, she said, handing us to printed statements. The airline's official response was, corporate, hollow. We regret any discomfort. Committed to inclusivity. Currently reviewing protocols. No apology. No names. No ownership. Zena dropped it like it burned. So that's it. APR. Massage. They're protecting themselves, I said. Not us. Her eyes locked onto mine. Sharp. Then maybe it's time we protect ourselves. And in that moment I knew exactly what she meant. The inquiries begin. Emails started. First, a local blog, then a national outlet. By the time we refreshed Zena's phone, there were over 40 interview requests, CNN, Vox, The Root, even late-night producers. Zena was stunned. Why now? We're not celebrities. Because we hit a nerve, I said. This wasn't just about us, it was about everything under the surface. Then, a media badge appeared near us. Zora? Zena! I'm Miles Garrett, Waypoint Daily. When you're ready, we'd love to give you space to speak. Unedited. Respectful. Calm. He stepped away. Zena turned to me. What do we do? I paused. If we say nothing, the world fills in the blanks. If we speak, we risk being twisted, misunderstood or tokenized. We call Dad. You okay? Kind of, I said. The press is coming. Of course they are. Should we talk to them? Zena asked. What if they twist it? He paused. Then calmly, you don't owe anyone your pain. But if you choose to speak, make sure it's on your terms, not theirs. That hit hard. Writing our truth recalled Amara Sloan, our old speech coach. I saw the footage, she said. I was waiting for your call. She didn't prepare us for APO spin. She prepared. You asked for something deeper. People will want you angry, she warned. But anger isn't the only way to tell the truth. Speak like the world is listening, because now it is. We stayed at the lounge not because we had nowhere to go, but because this was the terminal that mattered, the space between silence and choice. A message came in. The Public Accountability Project was collecting passenger statements. Zena looked at me. Written? That's something. I nodded. We control the words. We make it count. And we wrote. The turning point be morning. This wasn't just a trending hashtag. It was front page news. Sky Nova under fire. Bias accusations spark airline reckoning. Hashtag seat for everyone was everywhere. The airline held a live press conference. CEO Wallace Merrick stood stiffly at a podium. We apologized to Zora and Xenowit. What happened was unacceptable. The crew involved is on unpaid leave. Darren Pike, the gate manager, is no longer employed. Xena's eyes widened. They fired Darren. He deserved it, I said. Yeah. She whispered. But I still feel weird. Victory doesn't always feel clean. Outside, a news reporter approached. Do you have a statement? We nodded. I stepped forward. An apology doesn't undo the humiliation. Our skin color was quietly weaponized. We didn't ask for special treatment, we asked for fairness, Xena added. We want accountability, not revenge. Click. Flash, upload. By nightfall, our clip went viral again, but this time, our words led the story. Coming home, Changetit called. Saw your interview. Too much? I asked. Just right, he replied, voice full of emotion. Proud of you both. Then he added, but don't forget to be 16. We laughed for the first time in days. Back at school, we weren't the same. Some kids called us brave. A teacher asked if we could give a talk. We got bracelets from a church that said, your voice matters. Xena wore hers for 2 hours, then took it off. They mean well. But I don't want this to become a souvenir. The bigger fight Dad didn't stop either. Behind the scenes, he helped push new legislation, the Passenger Fair Access Act, to hold airlines accountable for patterns of racial bias. It was never just about us. Later, we spoke at a racial equity panel. Xena was hesitant. I don't want to relive it. Then don't, I said. Just speak the truth. Someone in the audience asked, how did you stay calm? Xena smiled faintly. We didn't always. We just stayed human. Another asked, was it worth it? We looked at each other, and I said the thing we'd never said aloud. It's not about whether it was worth it. It's about making sure the next girls don't have to decide if they should stay quiet. And in the end, months passed. Sky Nova released its first ever equity report. More diverse hiring, more bias training, a drop in complaints. Our names weren't even in it, which is exactly how we wanted it, because this was never about fame. It was about momentum. Somewhere, to other girls maybe into 8C are sitting a little taller now. Maybe they'll never be told to leave their seats. Maybe the seat will be theirs from the start. Some stories leave you angry. Some leave you inspired. This one leaves you changed. So if this story made you feel anything, sadness, anger, hope, don't let it end here. Speak up, share it. Because right now, somewhere, someone is being quietly silenced down. They're going to need all of us to speak. End screen. CTA, like, comment, share, subscribe, #seat for everyone, because the next story might be yours.